Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Thorn and Thistle Farm. We've had some of our viewers reach out and ask, what do we have going on at the farm? And to be honest, we're doing planning. We've also had to do a little bit of eating crow and taking a nice big slice of humble pie because we've kind of run short on wood. At least we think we might have ran short on wood. We chopped up three large white oak trees this year,
Four.
limbs.
Four.
Was it four?
Mm-hmm. I
Okay.
remember.
So four. Well, apparently, I'd feel more comfortable if we had five. So we've done some of that. We also started our seed trays. So, and we've also been asked, like, what are we planting? So we're going to go over today a little bit about what we're planting and why. And we're actually going to show you one of the seed trays that we absolutely failed on. I know so many times in these tutorial videos, you guys see
perfection.
Yeah, perfection. Oh, look at this. And, who knows? Maybe this person went to the farmer's market or went to Walmart and bought their seed tray, and then they're showing it to you. So we're going to show you an absolute failure seed tray, and we'll kind of take it from there. So we won't even tell you who planted it.
I will. It was me. I'm not as good at it as he is. I lack attention to detail. And it's been a while since I did the seed tray on my own. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the seed tray. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Okay, so these, the only thing that's doing really well right now is this, and this is oregano. That up front is kale. This is arugula. I can't remember. But these are tomato plants. And they are too tall and too stringy, and I'm going to tell you what I did wrong. Okay, so there's a couple things that can cause this. I'm going to tell you the things I know for a fact that I did incorrectly. First, I did not fill the seed tray all the way to the top. I didn't pack it, the soil. What's that called?
Tamponing.
Yeah, I didn't tampen it, where you make sure it's like really tight.
Yeah, you want to put the soil in, and then you want to moisten it. Let that settle, and then put some more soil in.
Pack it. That's the word I was looking for earlier. You want to pack your soil into that and make sure it's even with the top of the tray. Was it even with the top of the tray when I put the seeds in? Yes, because I hadn't watered down the soil so that it would sink, so I could put more soil in. So that was the mistake that I made. I was just too excited to get those seeds in that tray. The other mistake that I made was the light is not low enough. So the grow light that we have is about 18 inches above the seed tray. So these poor little guys are trying to get to that light. And then one of my friends, Emily, explained that to me. But
it's called being stringy. There's scientific names for it, but if you don't pack enough dirt into these trays,
it can cause fungus.
Yes, even an eighth of an inch gap can cause fungus. And then if the light's too tall, then these little guys, they want to reach that light as quick as they can. And you can see this even if you're using natural light. You'll notice plants will want to grow towards the light source. So you have to be really cognizant of that. If you need to turn your tray, adjust, up and down. It's kind of a daily thing when these little guys get growing. Like, you really have to be meticulous, pay attention to detail, make sure that they're not too wet, they're not too dry, they have the right amount of sunlight on them.
I think we've learned that from now on, he's doing the seed trays.
No, we're going to do them together.
I'll do the garden planting. He hates that bending over and digging it out and fertilizing all that. I don't mind it at all. So I think we need to divide the labor based on our talents. And he's way better at seed trays, and I'm way better at transplanting. So, and I remember what this is. It's broccoli. So these stems are so weak that when these plants mature, they won't be able to hold fruit. So what we have to do, I guess I should do the soil packing, is take the plants out. I don't think that many of them are salvageable, maybe two of the kale. And just start over. Pack the tray properly and start over.
But you can remove from this cup. You can try to maybe put dirt in. You want to dry out the soil, if it's too wet. Of course, raise them up to an adequate height. I'd say probably 6 inches from the light, 6 to 8 inches. You can also remove them and put them in like
once they're bigger.
Like a cup. And this is what we plant, like our beans, pumpkin, like larger
squash and beans
species, plants.
So these. This is a green bean variety that's a bush. There's bush and green bean plants, and I prefer the bush because of setup of my garden. I don't like to have the wire running through the center of my garden for the beans to grow on, to, grow along. So I prefer the bush bean variety because I can just stick it in a hole and it grows as a bush and I still get green beans, and it's easier and tidier in my opinion. So this is a bush bean variety for green beans, and it's doing really well. This is a good, sturdy, healthy, well planted seed. It's doing great. Let's see, was there anything else we want to talk about with that? Or do we want to move on to the seedling?
No, you can. Yeah, we can move on to seeds. What we're going to plant this year, and I'm going to give you guys some advice right now. Plant what you're going to eat. So plant what you like. Plant what you know that you're going to eat. Or, I mean, you can plant what you want to sell if you're going to do that. If you're going to go to a farmer's market or you want to sell within your neighborhood, you can do that. And that's a bit of country hustling, because I think these trays here, I think they're like 12 by 6. That's what, 140?
They're 72 plants each for $5.
Okay.
And then you can sell each plant for $5.
Well, Walmart sells them from anywhere from what, $4.50 to like $7 a plant.
Yeah.
Farmers markets, you're getting like maybe $3 to $5. And the healthier your plants look, the more likely somebody's going to purchase them. Of course, when you're doing it all natural here and not like throwing a bunch of chemicals on it, like what's that one, Miracle Grow, things like that. I'm not saying that's like terrible. It's just not how we do it. It's really hard to compete with people that are using those non-organic methods.
It is, yeah. So we have 2 trays of 72 plants for ourselves, and then 2 trays of 72 plants that we plan on selling. We haven't planted those yet. But before I plant the seed trays, I sit down with him and we think about what we want to eat.
Correct. And
then we make a plan. So you can't see this. Maybe I'll take a picture of it and put it at the end of the video. But this is my Garden 2025 plan. So I have on here all the different plant seeds to start in February. Why did these were planted early. They were planted the very first week of February. And we did that in case it screwed up, so we'd have time to start over. So that was part of our plan was, okay, it's been a while. We're letting the non-detail oriented person do this because she wanted to.
Yeah, start somewhere.
So let's give ourselves an extra couple weeks built into our plan in case we mess up.
Yeah.
And on that list, I have peppers. I have jalapeno peppers, green peppers, banana peppers, squash, and summer squash, and zucchini. And I also have Roma tomatoes. So I use a variety of different brands. I'll tell you right now, I prefer the organic, non-GMO seeds. I do not prefer to have to source those through any great difficulty. So most of my seeds come from Walmart. I hear Baker Creek is great. I just don't want to order my seeds that way.
Cayenne chili. Peppers do really great in our growing zone, and I love growing peppers. So I probably won't eat them, but I'm going to grow a lot of peppers, and I'm going to chop them up, and I'm going to make salsas. Have Andy can them, dehydrate some of them, give them away to friends, for gifts, things like that.
So this is a new to me brand. It's called Back to Roots USDA Organic USA Seeds. So these, I'm really excited to try these. I got these at Walmart. And the cayenne pepper, I plan on dehydrating and grinding in the food processor to make my own chili powder. I don't know if you can see behind me, but I like to make a lot of my own mixes out of organic spices. So I'm trying to start, that is my chili powder, my chili mix for chili, not my chili powder. It has a whole bunch of different spices in it. So I want to start getting into making my own spices, and then not having to spend $4 for like 3 ounces of organic spice. I just will have it out there. That's my plan. It's a long range plan, but this is part of that plan. And I'm excited to try this, this brand. Another one, also, I use Burpee too. I use both Burpee normal and Burpee organic, which if I can get it in organic, I do. If I can't, I don't sweat it too much. And I've had really good luck with them. The kale that I grew last year was Burpee Organic. This is another this is a brand new package of it. But it grew from, I planted it in April, and I had product in late May, I'm trying to remember the timeline. I've slept since then. But it grew from, for sure, I was getting product off of my kale plant from May until January.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend this seed. Another good kale seed is from Fairy Morris. These are easier to handle. They're coated in something, which is a little fishy, but especially if you have arthritis and these teeny tiny seeds are a struggle for you, this is excellent. I had really good luck with this a couple years ago. I fed our rabbits with it, so they loved it.
Yeah, and we organize our seeds. You know, we have seed boxes, just years and years of seeds, and really some of these. And I'm not going to say that like you planted this like absolutely terribly.
I did,
but I think you also have to kind of pay attention to how old some of your seeds are.
Yeah,
because if you're not actually putting these in like a dry environment that is dark, temperature controlled, like they can go bad. So that's something that you have to pay attention to. And
I would call them infertile.
yeah, and not that
may
we're
not
huge preppers or hoarders when it comes to farming and gardening and stuff, but a little more attention to detail on those types of things to make sure that you're not wasting your time. And we'll do a tutorial on exactly how we're going to plant. We'll take you, yeah, step by step by the numbers. We'll take you right through it, and then we can show you the results on that. But yeah, it's something to pay attention to. This is very meticulous, just for the first couple of like weeks, and then once you transplant them into the cups, that's a whole different story. Because now all of a sudden you have hundreds of these cups, and we'll show you our setup and everything in a tutorial video. But now you have to water and you have to baby all these things, so it's very time consuming. But you can profit greatly on these. I mean, we're going to do probably 4 to 6 trays. And we can take 2 or 3 trays of them right to the market and sell them for, $5, $5, $5, $5, $5.
$5 for each plant.
And
it's just one of our, we don't do it as a business. It's like a side hustle. And we haven't really done it as a side hustle until this year. So we'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah.
But I did also want to tell you this Fairy Morris, this is called the Garden Bush Pickle Hybrid. I don't typically go for hybrids, but this was so prolific last year. I grew, it is non-GMO. I grew 1 plant and I got over 24 pints of pickles out of it. That's a lot of pickles and he's the only one that eats it. So I'm giving him one.
Yeah, I can't even eat them all.
It was for our family. It was, well, for you, it's like 2 years worth of pickles. It was amazing. So 1 seed gave me that many pickles. I really liked this one. Another brand that I like is Livingston Seeds of Change. Sorry, I was going to call it Livingston. That's a different one. Seeds of Change, and they are USDA organic, non-GMO. But I use them mostly for like my arugula, and that seedling did great. The arugula came up wonderful. Watercress, most of my leafy greens, and I also got these at Walmart. So these are some, in my opinion, pretty good quality organic non-GMO seeds you can just go into Walmart and get. Are they as like bougie as Baker Creek? No. And Baker Creek also has really cool varieties of different vegetables that you can't get anywhere else. So like, let's say you wanted to grow an all purple garden. You want purple carrots, purple squash, purple tomatoes. You can go you want to go to Baker's Creek Seeds for that, because that would be pretty cool if you can, for colors in your cans. And there is some of that going on. Like in my bush beans, I have a purple variety and a green variety, because when I can them and I look at them, I want them to be pretty, kind of like my eggs. But anyway, so back to what we're growing this year. So we have all the different peppers that we're growing and the spices that we're going to give a try, and the squash and the tomato, but we're also growing onions, potatoes, spinach, arugula, kale, romaine, and carrots. I did that.
We have all of your regular like basil and oregano and mint and those things. I mean,
yeah, I have mint already growing. I usually kill rosemary. I overwater it, or it rains too much here. It rains in such large quantities in such short periods of time that if I keep my rosemary outside, unless that's some miraculously well-drained soil, it is going to die. I just struggle with it.
Yeah. We'll do sunflowers as well, sweet corn. We'll try. I mean, we can usually get some corn to grow. It's just not prolific like it is in the.
And the cobs are little too.
Yeah.
They're not like, so where we're from, there are these great big, juicy, like 12-inch long corn cobs. We're not going to get those. We
Yeah.
might get like a 6,
Right.
4 to 6 inch.
And we'll probably try to grow some barley this year because that's what you can make chicken feed out of. So that's about as organic as you can get, and it's a little treat for the chickens and the ducks.
So these are older, but these are from Mountain Rose Herbs, and they are organic, non-GMO herbal seeds for like medicinal herbs, because I also do that, but I like to forage them more than grow them. Friendly reminder, if you're foraging wild medicinal herbs, only take 30% or less so it can regenerate. But anyway, I have never gotten any of these to germinate. I have followed the directions. I've done everything. I've looked it up online. I'm also bad at germinating seeds, but I have never gotten one of these to germinate. I got those to germinate.
You did? No,
Look,
like
it's
I
a
said,
miracle.
it's not a complete failure, and you tried, so I can't be mad.
It's a Valentine's Day miracle.
Yeah, it takes a long time to pack these and to actually plant the seeds, and you have to pay attention to the depths. And there's instructions on the back. It'll tell you their temperature zone, when to plant them, and remember when you're doing these to like look on the back and make sure that they're all gonna not incubate but germinate around the same time, because you don't want a bunch of plants that are kind of growing and then ones that are going to take another week in order to germinate.
Well, like some need a heat pad and some don't. So
Right.
you don't want to put the more cold weather germinating seeds in the same tray as warm weather germinating seeds. And I kind of played with that with some of the ones in here, and it worked out for me, kind of. I mean, I did all the other things wrong, but I got them close enough together that they all germinated. The tomatoes and the broccoli and the kale and the oregano, they have slightly different heat temperature needs for germination, but I got it to go. So that part of my experiment worked out great.
Yeah, and you're gonna fail first time. I've known one person that did seed trays and they just had what they call a green thumb, right?
Perfection.
Yeah, absolute perfection, and they were just very meticulous, paid attention to detail.
Yeah.
They had a lot of time on their hands, and they just really loved them. And when you do that, you're going to have success. But that's not something
job.
we can all do.
They literally made it their job, which is great.
Yeah.
I'm not good at that, obviously. Another thing that we grow that we haven't mentioned yet, and this is for the height of summer for the chickens and the pigs, are melons.
Yeah.
So we grow those for them because they're high water content and they're like a great treat, and it's straight out of the garden and they love it. We also give all of our rotten produce to either the chickens or the pigs based on what the object is. So that's another thing that we like to do. And when we had rabbits, we fed them exclusively out of the garden. So with our kale.
Yeah, that's really like with rabbits. We did a lot of foraging for them, which is funny because they really enjoy like a little bit of alfalfa, a little bit of kale. So you just kind of go out in the yard, and kind of pick them treats. But we've kind of cut back from rabbits because now it's just me, Annie, and Joe.
They breed really fast, and that's a lot.
There's no reason to have 400 rabbits, and me and Joe can't process them in time and do all those things, and we don't even have the storage space between deer and pigs. And
well, we don't need them because we still have rabbit manure stored for
right.
the garden.
And rabbit manure is by far the best manure. So don't use your chicken or duck manure. Really even like cattle manure, things like that.
You can use it, but you have to compost it first.
Compost it, yeah.
Whereas rabbit manure, you don't. You can just use it. So we use it in, like when I dig the hole, when I transplant, I put the rabbit manure in first. And then I also, that's the fertilizer that I put on the plants throughout the season. Because it gets a little wet in the container, and you can just take a ladle, don't hate me, a cheap one that you're not going to use in your kitchen, and ladle it onto your plants. So we don't have a very big garden. It's 50 by 50. So that's not a very intense chore. Unless you want to do it in 100-degree heat, then it's kind of intense.
Yeah, and if you follow along with us on this journey, you're going to notice how much food that we produce. And I'm going to apologize to you guys right up front because we haven't been doing these types of tutorials because we've just assumed, going on YouTube, it's like that market's just oversaturated. But we've had some people reach out and say, hey, why don't you show us like actually what your successes and failure within your farming is?
What are you guys doing?
So we can learn from it. It's like you just magically all of a sudden have something canned. Well, I don't know how to can, or I don't know how to, you know, to plant or to, you know, harvest or,
Let me grab my
you know, any of these
something real
things. So,
fast. Here, I'll show them something.
ooh. So we're gonna start doing some more of these things. Like I said, I think the best way to learn is by failing at it. So this is like wonderful. I know Annie learned a ton just from, you know, these mistakes.
Okay, so this is from last year's garden. This just is a little bit. This is just a little bit. So here's some pickles. Here's some pickled jalapenos. And here's some pickled banana peppers.
Yep.
These are, I did a lot of pickling last year. I didn't want to use my pressure canner. I didn't know how much propane it would take and that kind of stuff. This summer, I'll definitely be using my pressure canner. So anyway, yeah, those are just some of the things left from last summer's garden.
Yeah, and I just throw these in like my omelets and tacos and things like that.
Tacos,
And
pizza.
eat these with a burger, hot dogs, something, you know, sausage.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's kind of what we have going on. I really appreciate you guys liking and subscribing. Please comment below. We can do tutorials, you know, if you guys have questions on specific things. And be smart, stay safe, don't let the thorn thistle keep you down.